there was suspected to be another staircase. The excavation of this trench has settled a question debated for centuries, namely whether Alexander burned Persepolis. These cars are carrying away debris beneath which was found a thick layer of ashes and charcoal immediately over the ruins. They are the ashes of the cedar roof, which came crashing down in flames. The enormous walls tumbled in after them and gradually covered the wreckage with a deep protective layer of solid adobe. To Alexander's ruthlessness, we indirectly owe the perfect preservation of these superlative sculptures. The reliefs before us adorn a stately double stairway and depict a tremendous celebration in honor of the emperor on New Year's Day, or March 21st of the Persian calendar. These rows of figures comprise representatives of all the ancient Oriental civilizations, here rubbing elbows as ambassadors from 25 nations bring gifts of every description to the emperor. Gold and silver vessels, fine raiment, superb horses, semi-precious stones, and in one case, as indicated by the cane, a sumptuous throne or chair. These foreign tribute-bearers, palace guards, charioteers, Persians, Medians, and Susians, and countless others, compose a magnificent array in which the detail of the carving often equals the delicacy of a cameo. At the far end of the great trench, the excavations have just laid bare an often repeated scene of a lion attacking a bull. The ferocity of the lion and the terror of the victim are superbly portrayed. But in this profile view of the bull, the ancient artist showed only one horn because the nearer one hid the farther one. Later people failed to understand this, and thus began the legend of the lion and the unicorn. The architectural layout of Persepolis was carefully planned with practical and artistic foresight. This large stairway, cut into bedrock, led to several miles of tunnel, forming an immense subterranean drainage system, the excavation of which has proved that the ancient engineers and architects knew in advance where and how each building was to stand. The workers with their clumsy footwear go galumphing up and down, carrying out the earth, which through the ages has largely filled the dark tunnels below. Out in the plain, only 2 miles away, the expedition has found a Stone Age village, from which the Persepolis terrace is clearly visible in the distance. Little villages like this were inhabited by the predecessors of the Persian Empire 3,500 years before Persepolis was built. The genius of these emperors did not develop in 1 or 2 generations, but required centuries of writing. When Darius reigns in his glory, this settlement had long since become an unnoticed town. So it remained until the Oriental Institute undertook its excavation. We shall probably never know what befell the inhabitants when they abandoned the village about 6,000 years ago. The circular bake-off or hill in the foreground might have been built only yesterday. These household utensils of baked clay were found lying about just as they were left, some of them even containing meat bones and other evidences of the last meal. As far as we know, these clay vessels are among the earliest painted pottery ever discovered. They reveal a remarkable sense of design, almost equaling that of our own American Indians 5,000 years later. It is a marvelous development, this transformation of simple Stone Age villagers into empire builders. What inner forces spurred them upward to such pinnacles of power? Why should their paths of glory have led but to the grave? The awe-inspiring tombs of the Persian emperors carved in the face of a neighboring mountain, were robbed ages ago and now resound with empty echoes. This square masonry tower, according to local legend never confirmed, is the tomb of Zoroaster. The other tombs in this royal cemetery are carved out of the mountain itself, and all have been identified. Next is the tomb of Darius II. The sculptures beneath it date from a much later time. Farther to the right is the tomb of Artaxerxes I. The tremendous carving of a mighty horse and rider dates from Roman times and depicts the Persian king Shapur I triumphing over the Roman Emperor Valerian. Darius the Great was the first to carve his tomb among these cliffs. It was his imperial vision that founded Persepolis and made the power of Persia a tradition for all time. How trivial seem the modern human figures as they clamber up the face of his tomb. High overhead is sculptured a scene of royal worship. Yes, Xerxes, Zoroaster, like the clang of Persian arms against Macedonian shields, these magic names have come ringing down the centuries. In the sunlit silence, there steals over us a sense of the presence of greatness which will never die, and of the utter loneliness of immortality. After such communion with the past, we return almost eagerly to the world of the living and the hubbub of Persepolis. The day's work is over, and the workmen await dismissal by their native foreman. He shouts the line of a song always sung when work is done, and they chant a reply. The moment they are dismissed, their sluggishness disappears like magic, and they come pouring out of the trenches, running pell-mell, helter-skelter to their villages scattered far off across the plain. Most of these men get up well before dawn and walk many miles at a much slower pace than this in order to begin work at sunrise. The trooping sunset clouds above Persepolis give warning that our own day too is done. We linger one last moment in the palace of Darius. It frames a cluster of noble columns still standing in the imperial audience hall. So they have stood for more than a score of centuries, like soldiers at attention, the brave and shattered remnants of those same immortals who guarded the lives of the emperor. A dreamlike beauty haunts this glorious place. Except perhaps for the Acropolis at Athens, Persepolis seems to us the most majestic, dramatic sight of all antiquity. Ages of storms have taken their toll of these slender columns, and earthquakes have dashed to earth their capitals carved as crouching bulls. Only this single capital remains. It rests so precariously above us, we almost fear some passing breeze might send it crashing down.